Welcome to Realm Painters, and welcome to the second to last tutorial for the Necron series. At least for now. In today's video, like with all of the other videos that I've done, I plan on showing you a fun new way to paint your Necrons, more specifically, your Canoptic Doomstalker. In the first video, I covered dry brushing. In the second video, I covered glazing, and in this video, I'm going to cover how to airbrush. Whoa! Before you click off, I know not everybody has an airbrush. I didn't have an airbrush until a couple of months ago, and as you'll see in this video, I'm still learning on how to use an airbrush. That's why everything I'm going to be doing is easily replicatable without an airbrush, and to a certain degree, I might even recommend doing it without an airbrush. You simply just have to follow one of the two different versions of a glow effect that I do in my previous tutorials. Either with the simple technical technique that I use in the first video, or the glazing technique that I use in the second video. But now that I've told you what the plan for this video is, I think we should just start painting. Alrighty, unlike previous videos, I'm trying out something a little bit different to help speed up the process of painting. Starting off with a black base prime, you'll then do a Zenithal style highlight with Leadbelcher. Following this, you'll want to dry brush Ironbreaker over the whole model. After that, I'm going to be breaking this down into two main sections. You've got the body and then the glow effect. And when it comes to the body, I like to start from the legs. To start off, there are many ways to paint the claws of the legs. But to pay homage to the original paint scheme of the Sautek dynasty, we are going to base coat these claws with Black Legion. This will take a couple of layers. The reason I like to use Black Legion over Abaddon Black is because Abaddon Black has a little bit of a glossier look to it. Following that, you'll want to do a two-part edge highlight, starting with a thick highlight of Caliban Green. On the Caliban Green, you'll want to do a thinner highlight of Moot Green. Moving up to the main chunk of the leg, you'll want to wash this whole action with Agarax Earthshade. Nuln Oil can also work here, but I think Agarax gives the metal a more aged look. After that's dried, we'll do an edge highlight with Runefang Steel. If you'd like, this step can easily be dry brushed instead. Now for the wire connector and the wire closest to the leg, paint with Black Legion. Following this step, on the lower wire, base coat it with white. Then, with Tesseract Glow, thinly wash over the white. I recommend taking some time to be slow on this step with the Tesseract Glow, because it likes to pool, and it can come out a little funky, as I will show you later in this video. Now for the second to final step of the legs, base coat the hydraulic casings in Black Legion. Lastly, edge highlight the wires and inner hydraulic with Caliban green and Moot green. Boy, with all this highlighting, I'm starting to sound like Sheridan. Now onto the main body. Starting with the black, we are going to paint over quite a bit with black. The big gun and the main body will all be Black Legion. Next, you guessed it, a double highlight of Caliban and Moot green. After that, we'll take care of the silver. The faceplate, the wings, the spine, and the gun tip will all be washed with Agrax Earthshade. Next, highlight the silver with Runefang Steel. As in previous steps, you can also dry brush this. Next, the copper bits. On the tag on the wings, the plates on the gun, and the underbelly, coat with Hashut copper. Wash the copper with Rakelin Flesh Shade. And lastly for the copper, edge highlight with Runefang Steel. And now lastly, for the big boy, before we get to the glowy bits, paint the tube connecting to the guns with white. Wash over that white with Tesseract Glow. Remember, be careful with this paint, since it's kind of ornery. Okay, on to the fun part of the video, the glow effect. I'm going to be doing the airbrush part at this point, but I cannot stress this enough, you do not need an airbrush to do this. I'm doing this because of the convenience of using an airbrush, and because I really want to try and learn how to use it properly. As you will soon see, there's a learning curve that I didn't quite get over. You can still achieve a very similar glow effect to this just using the two different techniques that I show in my previous two videos, with the glaze effect and the technical and white effect that I do in the first one. In fact, here's a close-up of the first ever Necron Stalker I painted. The glow effect is a little crusty because at the time I didn't know you're not supposed to pool Tesseract Glow. That is why you should be careful with Tesseract Glow and be sure not to pool it if you choose to do these techniques. So from this point on, if you have an airbrush, follow these steps verbatim. And if you don't have an airbrush, follow the same steps but painting it by hand, which honestly can be more fun. Starting off with white, you'll want to mark out the areas you want to glow. If you're using a brush on the bigger areas, I recommend using a dry brush and stippling. It can yield a really cool irradiating look. But if you have an airbrush, simply spray the area with the white, with a little bit of spray over the edges. Following this step, wash over the whole area with Tesseract Glow, using either an airbrush or a regular brush. If you're using either, however, make sure not to let the goddamn glow pool. Now at this point, you're going to notice my model looks a little different. And truth be told, it's because I wasn't liking how it was looking. I had my airbrush at a wrong setting and ended up overspraying certain parts and just kind of making a mess of the whole kit and caboodle. So I went back over with previous steps and I just cleaned up the areas that needed to be touched up. Hopefully you're doing this with a paintbrush, or you already know how to use an airbrush, or aren't a big old dum-dum like me and actually have your airbrush on the right setting, and you'll get better results than I did. Anyways, the last step is to add a bit of extra glow. With a brush, paint a circle of white in the center of the orbs, or optionally do a little toot with the airbrush. After that's done, you guessed it, base your mini and recreate the War of the Worlds. The good one, not the one with Ice Cube. Well, that was certainly a lot of fun, and it was definitely a learning experience for yours truly. I hope that the airbrushing part didn't discourage you too much, as we all make mistakes, especially me. Like I said, I spent most of my time painting by hand, and I can definitely see why using an airbrush can be, for lack of a better word, intimidating. But trust me, it's just paint. It's pretty easy to fix. I mean, I did it in like 15 minutes. I fixed up all the areas that I thought looked bad, went back over with an airbrush again, and reset the setting, and now it looks a lot better. So airbrushing has a really big benefit when painting these bigger models, and especially when you're doing like cool glow effects on these big models. It allows you to paint these cool glow effects with relative ease and not necessarily needing to do a whole bunch of different things with a regular brush. It definitely simplifies the process, for sure. However, you can still do it with a brush. But if you did in fact enjoy today's video and want to see more videos like this, or are looking forward to the next video in the Necron series, which we'll talk about here in a couple weeks, be sure to stay tuned for that. Ring the bell if you're interested, and let us know if there's any other tutorials, or more specifically like Spearhead or Combat Patrols you guys would like us to cover. And I think that's about it. I'll catch you guys in the next row. See ya.